aside video just for you to talk about a little bit more in-depth chord talk, right? So, chords. We talked about it in the YouTube video at length, but it's just when you play more than one note at the same time, but we're going to get a little bit more in depth. We talked about triads and diatonic triads in the last video, but I'll go over them really briefly. A triad, like a tricycle, has 3 notes. It's a chord with 3 notes that you play all at the same time. Not like that, though. Use your whole hand. Anyways, doesn't matter. When we talk about all of the diatonic triads, diatonic just means in the key of. Triads are chords with 3 notes. So all the chords with 3 notes in the key of blank, right? If your music teacher says, find me the diatonic triads for C major and start on the 3rd degree. Whoa, that sounds crazy. And why is your music teacher talking to you like this? I don't understand. But if she is, or he is, or they are, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's eight notes in the scale if you include the C that we start and end on, which I do. Okay, and those are called scale degrees. Each degree has an associated diatonic triad. Okay, so meaning if I start on C, there are 3 notes with C that I can play at the same time in that scale that create a triad, and that is the diatonic triad for C major. C, E, G, C, E, G. Put your little paw on a piano. Okay, and look at how when you do, your fingers should line up almost perfectly with a bunch of white notes, right? If you put your thumb on C, which we talked about where C is, look at how your index finger, or fingers 2, 3, 4, and 5, because your fingers have numbers in piano, starting with the thumbs going out. Oh, I have makeup on my, anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, and 5 are going to be the fingers you typically use to play triads, right? Because it'd be really weird to use these 3. I've seen some students approach them like this, but you look like an alien, and you look highly inefficient, if I'm being honest, so don't do that. You don't need to. It's unnecessary. So, this is how we are creating diatonic triads, and just in a bass form, right? C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B. We're just skipping every other note. You can do that all the way up, and if you are my piano student, you will also be doing that all the way back down, because like I said in the YouTube video, we don't take those dogs for a walk and not walk them back home. Who does that? Not us. So anyways, that's what I would like you to do, to practice your diatonic triads on the piano, if that is your motive. Now, let's talk about chords that don't just have 3 notes, because those exist too. Did you know you can play any intervals as chords? An interval, by the way, is just the space between any 2 notes. Pardon me. And it's really easy to find out what that is on the piano. You can literally count. Like, this is the 3rd. You can't see the piano because I'm not bringing up a graphic today. But on the piano, C and E are 3rds apart, because C, let's just say C, D, E, right? C, 1, 2, 3. 3rds. C and D, 2nds. C and F, 4ths. C and G, 5ths. You're understanding what I mean? It's the space in between them. Does that make sense? All of those intervals can be chords. You don't need 3 notes to make a chord. Also, you can use more than 3 notes to make a chord. Almost all of my favorite chords are 7th chords. I love a juicy 7th chord, and almost all 7th chords use 4 notes. So I told you to use 1, 3, and 5 for your triads. For my 7th chords, I'm normally using my 1, 2, 3, and 5. So this little guy normally gets left out, unless it's just a really wonky chord. So wa-da-da-da. Make sense? And I apologize, my nose is very runny. It's allergy season here, as you may or may not know. But anyways, I just thought I'd give you a brief rundown. We're also going to talk really quickly about the difference between major and minor chords on the piano. So, 1, 3, 5 can be looked at as the numbers of your fingers we're using. The scale degrees is what we're going to be talking about right here, though, right? When we build a chord, anyways, using a 1, 3, 5, If we lower this 3 by a half step, and I will make a video all about literally this that we are talking about right now for YouTube so that it gets a lot of space, because I feel like the topic gets a little heady and it might need a lot of space. But if you lower your third by a half step, guess what? You get a minor chord. All we did was lower that note in the middle, and now we have a pretty juicy minor chord, and we love it. Anyways, I hope that patrons love this little extra stretch on chords, and we'll do a whole video in depth on major versus minor versus sevenths versus blah, 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 blah later. I promise, we'll do it. Thank you for being patient with me, and I will see you next week.